Dismay as Trump vetoes bill to end U.S. support for war in Yemen. Politicians decry Trump's decision to continue U.S. involvement in it as a cynical move and a missed opportunity for humanitarian help. Yeah, because Trump is such a fucking humanitarian.
Like, what about Trump led
Shocking.
anybody to believe that he wasn't going to be a status quo hawk on war?
Donald Trump has vetoed a bill passed by Congress to end U.S. military assistance in Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen. The Senate had passed a bipartisan resolution on the 13th of March in a 54 to 46 vote in a move that was largely seen as a rebuke of Trump's alliance with the Saudi forces leading military action in Yemen. The House voted on the resolution in early April, passing it with 247 votes to 175 votes. This resolution is an unnecessary, dangerous attempt to weaken my constitutional authorities, endangering the lives of American citizens and brave service members, both today and in the future, Trump wrote in explaining his veto. Okay, here's the actual reason. Maybe it's because you sell weapons and nuclear technology to fucking Saudi Arabia, you sack of shit.
Tens of billions of dollars.
And you don't give a fuck if there's a genocide going on. Like, this war in Yemen is a fucking bunch of bullshit. It's a fucking genocide in Yemen. There's a genocide going on in Yemen. Bernie Sanders championed this bill through the Senate and through the House. Introduced that shit in the fucking Senate. Passes with obviously not huge, overwhelming bipartisan support, but a lot of Republicans did support the measure and say, yeah, why the fuck are we helping Saudi Arabia massacre people in Yemen?
Remember, there was a civil war in Yemen.
And this sack of fucking fat, disgusting shit, who, once again, sells weapons to the Saudis and who's been caught selling nuclear technology to the fucking Saudis, who, by the way, that's the country where most of the 9/11 hijackers came from, while he pretends to fucking cry about 9/11, while you gullible Republican dupes fucking sit there and act like he actually gives a fuck. Boop. He does not give a fuck about anything other than his own fucking agenda, and yeah, so that's why he vetoed this bill. It had nothing to do with... What about saying Saudi Arabia is not allowed to massacre people in Yemen harms the fucking citizens of this country?
But I think you have to set the stage for that, too. I mean, a lot of people are talking about this. Like, look, there was a civil war in Yemen, but Yemen's just an indicator. One of these indicator countries like Syria that was embroiled in civil war conflict, repressive government. The leader of that country was nearly killed. Mm-hmm. He took refuge in Saudi Arabia, and then basically to restore a tyrannical government, it's like, hey, we'll send these people back, and then of course Saudi Arabia started basically launching fucking military campaigns and bombings using U.S. Weaponry, killing tons of people. Now there's basically a genocide going on. We're basically supplying the fucking weapons through Saudi Arabia. It's basically just a proxy war.
There are some citizens that would be negatively affected by us pulling out of this, though, TJ.
Oh, like Lockheed Martin?
Yeah.
The rich citizen Lockheed Martin.
The rich, people that own all of the big logistics corporations and all of the big weapons manufacturing corporations.
I guess that it would harm them.
All of the munitions manufacturers.
It just seems like time and time again, the poorest countries, all these people have to just basically be slaughtered.
All of the subcontractors that do work for the Pentagon, all of those people probably would suffer a hit to their bottom line.
73% of the world's dictatorships are backed by the U.S. government, so why should this be a surprise to anybody, right?
Well, yeah, dude, I've seen different documentarians go to Yemen, and you basically just look at these fucking war zones, these burnt-out cars and buildings, and you see a bunch of bombs that are made in America. And it's like, how can you not say that we're in some way responsible for this?
David Miliband, the former British Foreign Secretary who now heads the International Rescue Committee, denounced the veto as morally wrong and strategically wrong-headed. In a statement, he said Yemen was at a breaking point with 10 million people on the brink of famine.
Right. Yep. And I mean, if you look at some pictures out of there...
Sounds like freedom to me.
I mean, people,
Well, that's why there was a civil war. People were just
dying. People are literally starving to death.
They were starving. They don't have water. They don't have all these things. That's what I'm saying.
This is not even... We're not even talking about people necessarily being, bombed out of existence, which is bad enough. We're talking about people slowly starving to death because no supplies can get through thanks to the Saudi government and the weapons supplied by our government.
Yeah, but all these problems were taking place before, too. This is a canary in the coal mine of what the fucking world has to look forward to with climate change and all these other problems that are going on.
Right. I mean, but what I'm saying is These problems might have existed, but we're not helping by supplying one side with weapons.
No, this is not helping anybody except fucking enrich some corporate motherfuckers living in the U.S. and fucking Saudi Arabia. This is helping the Saudi royal family, and it's helping the fucking
this is
military
clear,
industrial complex of the U.S.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is about. That's
Trump
what
just
this
looks like a
veto is about.
fucking beer keg wearing a suit.
What a fat, ugly fuck, dude.
That's like what I would look like.
Has
in
he
a fucking
plumped
suit.
up since taking
has.
office?
He looks fat as fuck.
He actually has gained weight, yes.
He looks fat.
He looks plump as fuck in this one.
Yeah, I mean, like
He can't golf as much,
I mean, the stress.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even for someone like Trump, the presidency is a stressful position, even though he doesn't even treat it as seriously as he should. So, yeah, he's probably just sitting there crying in his cheeseburgers all day.
He looks like an overstuffed bratwurst ready to bust forth from its casing, yeah?
So, we actually do have some Mueller stuff. Trump says Russia probe con job as Fuller report looms. The president isn't waiting as Washington counts down the final hours until the publication of the redacted special counsel report, now expected Thursday. Donald Trump stepped up his attacks in an effort to undermine potential disclosures on Russia, his 2016 campaign, and the aftermath. He unleashed a series of tweets Monday focusing on the previously released summary of special counsel Robert Mueller's conclusions, including a crucial one on obstruction of justice that Trump again misrepresented, produced by Attorney General William Barr. Mueller and the AG, based on the Mueller findings and great intelligence, have ruled no collusion, no obstruction, Trump tweeted. These were crimes committed by Crooked Hillary, the DNC, dirty cops, and others. Investigate the investigators.
Oh my God, dude.
But who's going to investigate the investigators
Trump.
of the investigators?
I want a Trump investigation. Look, they're guilty. Firing squad.
Yeah, just let Trump look over it and make the decision, man.
I like how he's talking about how his AG has ruled on it. Like,
Yeah.
that guy's not a judge.
They ruled.
They
He hasn't-
ruled.
Neither is Mueller.
I'm innocent.
No one has ruled on anything as of yet. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders, who's backed up the Trump bullshit position, whatever. Democrats are calling for Mueller himself to testify before Congress and have expressed concerns that Barr will order unnecessary censoring of the report to protect the president.
No.
I don't buy that for a second.
No, never.
The House Judiciary Committee, led by Rep. Jerry Nadler of New York, is poised to try to compel Barr to turn over an unredacted copy as well as the report's underlying investigative files. The Justice Department announced Monday that it expects to release the redacted version Thursday morning, sending the findings of the nearly 2-year probe to Congress and making them available to the
What a
public.
fucking joke, dude. I mean, could this be any bigger of a fucking con? Your con job? The con job is on the American fucking people because they're going to give us a bullshit report and then they're going to redact the bullshit report and give us a redacted version of a bullshit report. Fuck this. It's this horseshit. The full report or nothing, because you know what? We're going to get this fucking Trump redacted. Basically, Trump did nothing wrong. He good. The end.
Donald, redacted. Trump, redacted, did, redacted, nothing, redacted,
Yeah.
wrong on the last page. That's what we're going to get.
Yay! Great! This is political theater. That's why people go like, why don't you fucking vote? It's like, this is why, because this is all bullshit. If we had a transparent government that we could actually look at with the investigation, and we can obviously, yeah, there's some things like national security concerns. I understand you can't just release every single piece of information. But why not actually release an unredacted report aside from those concerns?
I don't know. This national security shit has all gotten too fucking, like, for me, it's the boy who cried wolf all over again. Like, the lessons of that old fable just ring in my fucking ears because now everything is a national security. It just instantly was used as a cloak for any kind of wrongdoing.
Sure.
National security.
National security, and this is national. No. There needs to be an office, a bipartisan office that fucking decides whether or not something is redacted for national security or whether or not it's just to protect somebody's ever-fattening orange ass from any kind of prosecution or insinuation of wrongdoing.
I agree with you. I don't think it should be Trump making that call. There should
to the fuck
there
no.
should be an independent process that determines what's national.
And let me tell you, all of these people that ran to the presses with a hot take on this because William Barr summarized it, that's basically letting Donald Trump sit down and summarize it. The only reason he didn't is because he's not smart enough to do it. So he just hired a lapdog, William Barr, who is already buttering up everybody that would listen about how there was no collusion before he ever saw a fucking word of the report. There was no obstruction of justice. There was no collusion. He'd already made his mind up. If you're going to take his summary or this redacted bunch of nonsense you're about to get on Thursday for what's really in that report, you're a dupe.
You know what's funny, too, with all this shit, too? is that Bill Clinton, whatever you think of him, got a blowjob in the Oval Office. And they wanted him impeached, and he very nearly was impeached.
Not only that, but it was like a 4-year investigation.
Yeah, the Kenneth Starr report. It's a huge tome. And Trump does this shit and is implicated in this, and it's like, oh, well,
let's hide it.
Oh, yeah, 2 years. Oh, it's going on forever. It's a witch hunt. There's nothing there. Oh, here's the fucking summary. Trump's innocent. What? Yeah.
Redact your active security sources. Redact your fucking, the stuff that would obviously give aid to our enemies, but release the findings. There you go.
Yes, indeed.